Hi Will, this is Philip calling from Switzerland.
Hey Philip, how you doing?
Hey, very good, thank you. What about you?
Good, thank you. Good to speak to you.
Are you in England or in the States?
Yes, yeah, we're in London. We just had the London Film Festival
Of
where
course.
DOPESICK played. Yeah,
Good, good. First of all, congratulations to the show DOPESICK. It's amazing, it's thrilling, it's shocking as well.
mm.
It's a show about greed, false promises, and drug addiction. So, what attracted you playing this role of a drug salesman?
Yeah. Well, thank you first and foremost for the kind words about the show, and I agree. I think many of the reasons you just listed are many of the reasons that I wanted to be involved. I think the fact that it points to a real life and ongoing social issue was kind of the main thing that attracted me, and it's really upsetting to confront that as a reality. But anytime as an actor, you get to kind of lend your voice to a story that raises awareness about a reality in society, then it's a real kind of it's a real privilege, and it feels like you're kind of maximizing your sort of responsibilities. The sales force of Purdue, were instrumental in basically promoting this drug in a fraudulent manner. So I felt like, yeah, there was a real opportunity to have a hand in telling the truth by portraying this salesman as kind of honestly as I could, and that involved leaning into the fact that he was kind of inherently dishonest in the way that he went about his business.
Okay, okay. Here you are playing your role. You did a great job, by the way. I feel I can feel your struggling your character had during the show. What shocked you the most about this amazing story?
Yeah, it's so interesting when you go through the list of things that Purdue did, and the sort of low kind of antics that they stooped to in order to sort of trick and deceive people, all at the cost of American lives. It's really disturbing, and it's hard to sort of pick what's more shocking. I think they pushed pseudo-scientific principles on people. They fabricated data. They hid incriminated evidence. They unfairly dismissed people who challenged them, and they threatened them with legal action. I think the most frustrating thing for me, or the most sort of disturbing thing, and the thing that kind of makes me most angry, is the way that they vilified the people that they ultimately harmed. I think the victims of opioid abuse disorder were made the villains, and they were blamed for derailing the course of the drug through the country. And that's just not true. This was presented as a legitimate form of pain relief, and it wasn't that. It was a dangerous narcotic. And once people became addicted, Purdue totally neglected their duty of care, and they pursued their sort of financial goals at any cost.
Okay. The shocking thing to me is it could happen to anybody. It to you, to me, to yeah. If you
Right.
trust your doctor, and your doctor has trust in that medicine, so here we are. I mean,
Right.
it goes quick.
Yeah, it is frightening, and I think important to sort of highlight that Purdue are an outlier. They don't speak for all pharmaceutical companies, and they're very unique in terms of their corporate structure, and the fact that they're privately owned by a single family, and that family had such an immense amount of influence over the way that they kind of conducted themselves. And I think doctors are someone that doctors are people that we absolutely sort of have to be able to still trust, but many doctors were made victims in this scenario as well. And provided there was a FDA label approving that the drug was safe, many doctors had no sort of legitimate reason to question what they were being told. But thankfully, Purdue is dissolved as a company. I think what people are turning their attention to now is making sure that the Sacklers and the execs at Purdue answer for their crimes, and they're held accountable. But also, as you say, anyone, you know, can become addicted to this. And that's the other thing. I think somewhere along the line, you know, addicts were painted as sort of, you know, a select number of people who were, you know, losers and, you know, were looking for a high. And that's not fair, nor is it accurate. Anyone can become addicted in as little as 3 days. It doesn't always happen that quickly, but it can happen that quickly. Yeah. And, you know, I think if we can look at addicts in this regard and reframe it as people who are looking for pain relief as opposed to people who are looking for a good time, then we fly a lot closer to the truth when it comes to this drug and this epidemic.
I agree completely. Okay. Many people has just a headache or a problem with in somewhere in your body. So what are you doing when you're in pain? I mean, I have painkillers beside my bed, but after watching this show, I have to think about. But what are you doing? How do you handle this problem when you have a pain?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I consult, you know, medical professionals, and thankfully, you know, I think there aren't too many, you know, companies like Purdue who are still in operation, but unfortunately, OxyContin is still on the market, and so people do need to be wary, and they do need to sort of exercise like self-protective measures. But when it comes to pain, you know, I consult medical professionals, and I put my faith in science and legitimate science. And the thing I would, you know, reassert is that, you know, Purdue, their rhetoric actually went against, you know, the prevailing and accepted wisdom in the scientific community. They actually countered, you know, the scientific narrative with the way that they behaved and the way that they conducted themselves. So important that we remain, you know, faithful in science, and in the process we hold Purdue and all of their associates accountable.
Okay. My time is up, unfortunately. Will, thank you so much for your time. Again, congratulations to the show, and I hope I can speak to you for another one very soon. Bye-bye.
I hope so. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.